Hey, Mike with No Problems Gaming here. In today's video, we'll be doing a review on Infernax. So Infernax is a game that recently came out on multiple different platforms, but in this game you play as a powerful knight that returns to his homeland only to find that it's been overrun by evil dark magic, and you go on a quest to restore the town and defeat the evil that's been plaguing the land. But the game itself plays like classic games like Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest and The Legend of Zelda 2 Adventure of Link. And so this is an action platformer with many RPG and Metroidvania elements to it. Now throughout the game you'll explore various different villages, abandoned castles, and go on different quests either helping or hindering various different villagers and members of an evil cult. And so one thing that really makes this game cool and unique is the fact that you have the option of either completing quests and the adventure in an evil fashion or a good fashion. And so depending on what you choose, you might, for example, help a villager, or you might kill them off, or you might help a band of thieves, or again, maybe you spend the night drinking with an evil group of cultists, or you banish them from the area. Again, there's a bunch of different options to choose from, and depending on your choices, you might become evil throughout the game or stay on a good path. And depending on what you do, that actually dictates the different quests that you have, the spells that you unlock, your weapon throughout the game, and really the overall story and ending as well. And so like I mentioned, it plays similar to a Metroidvania, but in that classic NES format like Simon's Quest. But at the same time, there are a lot of modern quality of life improvements to the game, making it a lot more fun. So for example, the controls are extremely tight and responsive. There's options where you can switch between spells with the click of a button without having to go back and forth in your menu all the time, like the old school Adventure of Link. There's several different types of weapon and armor you can find throughout the game. There's unique spells, and when you level up, you have the option to choose between different types of power-ups. So you could do a power-up to your strength, to your health, or your mana each time you level up, depending on how much experience you've gained and the current cost of those level up abilities. And so again, it's really fun. You can kind of choose your own adventure. It is a Metroidvania, so it's somewhat open world, but somewhat linear at the same time, where certain areas will be blocked off until you gain new abilities or complete certain parts of the quest. On top of that, the game has a classic mode and a casual mode, so depending on how difficult or how much of a challenge you want throughout the game, you can choose between the two. The classic mode is going to be more reminiscent of old school NES games, where if you die, you basically have to go back to the last time you saved in the game, losing all the experience that you gained, or you can retain what you've gained and continue your playthrough with a little bit more of an easy difficulty. Now again, the platforming is really intense. There was definitely a lot of times where I died again and again trying to get past certain parts of the game, and it's not like a typical Metroidvania where you're going to get like a double jump or a long jump or something that makes it pretty easy to get around. In this game you have like an upward thrust, a side thrust, and a downward thrust, and depending on how you use them and how you time it can help you get to different areas. So it's a little bit more difficult in the platforming, like I said, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes really second nature. Now, even though the game is really hard in some instances, you don't really need to do a lot of grinding, and I feel like that doesn't really make a huge impact on your success or failure either. A lot of it really has to do with you getting the controls down and mastering the game and getting good at it compared to grinding your way out of a difficult situation. So really combining the platforming skills with your powerful character and the equipment that you find or can purchase throughout the game is really what's going to make the difference versus just having all your stats maxed out. Now your first playthrough of the game is going to be a little bit longer, but once you've really figured out the game, it's a lot faster to play through a second time, but the game does have a lot of replay value to it as well. I know for me, I played the first time through going the evil route, making all those evil decisions and beating the game that way, and immediately started the game again, trying to go through on a good route. But on top of that, there's a lot of different extra playable characters and secrets to unlock in the game as well. So for example, you can play through it with different classes. So one class is like a wizard class where you'll cast spells and have kind of a powerful flame magic as your weapon. There's a barbarian class that uses a long axe, which extends your reach as you play. And there's even a throwback to Contra, where you can actually play through the game with a machine gun, similar to the gameplay of Contra. And so again, it's super fun, it's highly addicting, there's a ton of replay value, there's multiple different endings. So if you like classic retro games like Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, or The Legend of Zelda, Adventure of Link, or just challenging Metroidvania style games, I definitely recommend picking this game up. But if you guys like this video, be sure to smash smash that like button as it really helps out the channel. And definitely check out one of our other videos if you like videos on video games, board games, and everything nerdy. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next video.